Hey, folks, you're listening to the Wrecking Crew Comedy Podcast with Vito D'Amico. Today, we've got a great guest. I follow her on Twitter, and I love her story. Her story is she's an ex Mormon and an ex Muslim, and that is fucked up. I mean, if you really think about that, that is a train wreck. So, how is she not ended herself is a miracle. But no, she's a funny gal, and she goes by the name of Base Skepto. But today we're gonna call her Jen, and she's gonna call me Vicky. So she has to go by a different name because there are you know, whenever we're talking about religion, especially when it's the Muslim religion, I notice the fuckheads come out and they make threats. I've been threatened. I've been physically touched. No, not really. I wish, but there are a lot of psychos out there, so I don't blame her not going by her real name. You have to this day and age. You got to. I mean, I had some guy. I got into an argument with him today, and he's calling me a kafir. You
Yeah,
know what
an unbeliever.
yeah, kafir. Like kept calling me a fucking yeah, like he was gonna kill me. He was gonna slice my throat, and I was like, I'll
That's
rape.
just foreplay.
Yeah, it's like like totally. I'll rape your mom. Like honestly, if you think you could outdo me, I could go to a different level. You know, it's just weird. You just people just as soon as you talk religion, they kind of go fucking stupid. What was
They're
your
crazy.
story on how you became? How did you become a Muslim?
For love, basically.
Well,
I was gonna say, telling someone that they're gonna rape your mother is like hello in Islam.
yes, it is. Actually, it is. He took it as why are you talking to my mom? So it was really weird. But how did you like for love? You fell in love with the guy?
Yeah, well, I was raised Mormon, and Mormon is it's a very patriarchal religion where every aspect of your life is controlled. So Islam wasn't a hard switch for me. I was young. It was like a 17 or 18, having a lot of problems at home, and I had a couple Muslim uncles from Libya and Egypt, and I had grown up with them, visiting them during the summer and things. So I kind of had a romanticized idea of Islam already,
Oh, like
and I started. Pardon?
sorry. No, no, go on. Sorry.
Oh, um, so I started studying. I started going to the local mosque. I had moved overseas because I've lived both in Britain and in America. Well, actually, I've lived in other countries as well, but primarily those two countries. So I had left the U.S. to go move overseas, and I started studying Islam and going to the mosque. And I met my ex-husband actually online through a university talker. They called it back in the day a telnet talker. I'm aging myself right now. Um, and we met up, and he told me that he wouldn't marry me unless I converted. So I did.
Oh fuck! What an asshole. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I remember growing up as a kid. I remember watching Lawrence of Arabia. Was it? And just
Mhm.
thinking, oh, that's cool, and just thought, well, what a romantic, same kind of idea. And then as I got older, I realized, no, not really. It was just like these, it's not as romantic as I could see how a young lady would sit there and go, ooh, that is so cool. But yeah, man, that is just when did like that's kind of tough. I like to sit there and say, well, you could only be with me if you convert to my religion. What were your thoughts on that? Just yeah, sure, cool, no problem.
Well, it didn't seem weird to me at the time because of the religion I had come from. I mean, Mormons don't marry non-Mormons, and if they do, they convert them. That's kind of the way it goes. So, and in order to go to heaven in the Mormon Church, you have to go to the temple. And in order to go to the temple, you have to be a member in good standing. So it really wasn't that hard for me to accept the fact that he said, I was in love with him by
Right.
that time. We had developed a relationship, and especially for children, he said if we were to have children, you would have to be a Muslim. And I agreed with that. I was so enamored with the religion and the culture. I mean, he was his family was from India and Pakistan, and I had just fallen in love with the Indian culture. I didn't know much about the Pakistani culture at the time.
Right.
And his family was from Hyderabad, so it was Muslim Indian culture, very different from.
Hey, but do
the rest of
you
it.
like Indian food?
Oh yeah. I actually, that's the only good thing his mom ever said about me, was that I cooked as well as the aunties and the moms. Which is, if you know any Indian people, that is the biggest compliment a mother-in-law could ever give a daughter-in-law, like ever. So
Wow.
yeah.
Because I don't know, I'm not into that food, but that is really cool that you can do that, and you grasp the culture, and you were like, fuck it, I totally love this guy, and I'm going to that is weird though, I've never heard a Mormon go from Mormon to Muslim. Didn't you get any flack from Mormons saying, hey, what are you doing here? Like, what do you, like, don't you know that they are totally different? Or was it kind of, you left the Mormon church and you just went and did your own thing?
No, I was disowned for leaving the Mormon church and
Oh,
shunned.
you were shunned.
I lost probably more than half of my family. When I resigned from the Mormon church, was something different. I lost the rest.
You had to resign?
Yeah, you can't just leave the Mormon church. That's not the way it works. You have to.
They want like a 2-week
resign.
notice kind of thing?
Pardon?
They want like a 2-week notice kind of thing? Like a...
No, you have to write a letter, and you have to insist that you no longer want to be a member and you don't want any contact, and they send you a resignation letter basically saying that you're no longer a member and that your eternal consequences, you're no longer sealed to your family for time and all eternity. That's a whole other... Mormons are a crazy bunch. So that's what I'm saying. It's not hard to I'm not the only one who's
Wait a minute,
gone
go
from
back.
the
What do
Mormon church to
you...
Islam.
Go back for a second. What do they send you? They send you something that says that you're pretty much, you won't see your family in heaven now? You fucked up.
Right.
So
because you broke... When you're Mormon and you go to the temple, which everyone has to go to the temple, you get sealed to your family for time and all eternity. That's what the endowment ceremony is. That's the whole point of being a Mormon. So you go to heaven and you spend eternity with your family, and there's a chain, and the whole family's in this chain. And if one person breaks the chain, you're taught that the whole family suffers. So I pulled
that is
myself
the
out of the
biggest.
chain.
That is the biggest setup on the planet. That is called putting fucking bullshit on you. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I believed it.
I mean, I would
Like,
totally
figure-
believe that too if I was a kid. I'd be like, if people were telling me, "Hey, you know, listen, you're gonna fuck up the chain. Your grandfather, your great grandparents, you're gonna ruin it for them too."
Yeah.
Like, that is such fucking sick bullshit. It's something out of a science fiction movie.
So it's a guarantee that they can collect 10% of your income, because what they do at the end of the year is tithing settlement, and you bring in your tax returns to show that you have been paying 10% of your income. So
Wait, you gotta show them?
Yes. So in order for you to prove that you've been paying your tithing, so you can get your temple recommend, so you can continue to go to the temple, so that you can be a member in good standing and go to heaven. It's a racket just to get 10%
Fucking
or
right.
more
They
of your
they
income.
make the mob look like fucking the Latter-day Saints. I
Yeah,
mean,
they hold your eternal soul.
yeah, it's
hostage.
it's a business. It's like what a great business. This is a fantastic business. Think about the business plan itself. Where
Well, it's not a church anymore. It's actually, it is a business. It's an organization. They lost their ability to call themselves a church, I think, in the 70s, because they refused to admit black members. Eventually, they did in 78, but
that's
they
right.
were punished. So
Yeah.
they still are tax exempt, but somehow they're not classified as an actual religion.
Really, they're not considered a religion?
No, they're a corporation.
Holy shit! I thought they were a religion.
I know. Yeah. No.
They're a corporation. Why would you join that? It's like joining fucking a corporation. That wouldn't turn me on. That would be.
They built a $2 billion mall in Salt Lake City. The church did, not like a company masquerading and pretending to not be the church. The church itself spent $2 billion on a mall in Salt Lake City while people are homeless in their church, and it makes no sense.
Yeah. And that is the Mormon where you could get more wives.
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's the only part.
My grandfather actually was a fundamentalist Mormon. He practiced polygamy. So I'm a product of polygamy going back to the beginning of the Mormon Church, but also with my grandfather.
See, that's the only thing
and I don't know which grandmother I come from.
You don't know what grandmother you come from?
No, I don't.
Holy shit.
That's not normal. I mean, because genealogy is so big in the Mormon Church, they really keep track of it. But because he was in Mexico, and it's a gray area, so I'm not sure which one of the 3 or 4 that I come from.
And
so,
see, that's the only thing that would like where I sit there and go, I get it. Like for a guy, it's all like thumbs up. I'm like, wait a minute, I get like 3 or 4 wives. If I was a horny kid, now it's I could barely hold on to one.
Taking care of all those wives and all those kids because they can't work. They're women. So you have to provide for all of them. So
yeah, but
really, it's all that sex worth it.
I watched that show, that 4 Wives and a Dingbat. You know which one I'm talking about? The 5 Wives.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, Jen. He doesn't do fuck all. He sits there and he goes it's like you've got 5 wives. You could only spend so much time with the kids, right? So you show up and you're like, can you paint the basement? And it's like, listen, I've got such and such to do. I'll paint a little bit. Let's just go upstairs, pork really quick, and I'll move on to something else, because at 3:00 I gotta get over to Sarah's house and help her out with her kids' homework. So you understand, sweetie? And you're like, oh, you're so sweet. At least you're trying. And it's like,
oh, that guy's so slimy.
It's fucking beyond slimy. It's like the girls, I feel like slapping them. It's like, do you not have any fucking brains, woman? Do you not? You want your husband's dick that's been in another woman 5 minutes ago? Do you? No, it's not about love. It's about love. Fuck off. He's getting his dick wet. Like that. That's the bottom line. He's getting laid. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But I was one of those women. I not only thought it was fine, but I actively encouraged my ex-husband to have a second wife. He didn't, but I looked for one and I actively encouraged it.
Oh fuck! See, you were a dream. That'd be fantastic if you were like, what? Because I'd be like, well, how big's their ass? And you'd be like, well, it's pretty big. And it's like, all right, well, if you think so, Jen, I mean,
I wanted the help. I wanted to be released of some of my duties.
Yeah, your duties.
It's actually like it takes a village to raise kids. And
see, if it was the other way around, I would find somebody with a smaller pecker. You know what I mean? I totally would. I'd be like, okay, hold on here. Let's find you something that isn't going to make you happy. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would.
It doesn't always mean everything, though. Like, some guys are big and they just don't know what the fuck they're doing, so it doesn't make a difference.
Oh, I totally agree with you. But it's just, I don't want. What if you find one that's big and knows how to work it? That'd be a fucking nightmare. You know what I mean?
I have, and I will never forget him.
Oh, that's what I mean.
He's gone, but never forgotten.
That's gotta suck, eh? That's gotta, like, that's a totally different topic. But that itself, to me, that's like a woman with, like, giant titties. And then they're gone. You know what I mean? It's like you're never gonna get those big titties back. It's kind of a sad story. But, yeah, getting wives, like, if you would actively search wives and we're sitting there looking on the net, and you're like, what do you think of her? It'd be like,
Yeah, we interviewed a couple, actually. I was in,
oh, God.
This is my ex-Muslim husband. I was in Niqab. I was living under Sharia law. I mean, this is a completely different situation. As a Mormon, I never would have been okay with polygamy. I got to a big argument with my bishop once. I was a teenager, and I was in his office, and I was demanding he explain to me why polygamy is okay. Why? He goes, and his explanation was, well, it's been outlawed on earth, so it's only okay in heaven. And it's eternity, as my version of heaven is making spirit babies for eternity for my husband, along with God knows how many other wives. That's
How many
for
wives
me.
can you get?
And there's no limit,
Holy shit, I'm in.
right? So you have all these wives in heaven pumping out babies for you because um, Jesus is the God of earth,
Right.
and you all exist as spirits in the pre-existence before you come to earth and get a body. So all those spirits have to come from somewhere. So naturally, duh, Heavenly Mother made them.
But don't
I
you
mean, right?
don't
Duh.
like? But as a girl, don't you got to be kind of attracted to the guy? Like, I mean, don't you got to sit there? Like, you look at like there was when I was watching the show, the Cody guy, Cody. Oh God, I love Cody, and he would constantly he would like they would go out with other Mormon families, and there was this other Mormon guy that had like two. He was porking like two sisters and some other girl, and the guy looked like a fucking loser. And I'm like, don't you? Aren't you? You got to kind of be attracted to these people. You know what I mean? Like, don't you got to be like one guy? He was like this. There was this show on Mormons, and he was this fat fucking loser, and he had these four hot wives, and he's like, this is a lot of work. a lot of people say, how do you, how can you do that? But they don't understand. It's a lot of work. And there's that one girl in the background, and her face is just like, oh, I gotta suck this guy's dick. You know what I mean? Like it's so fucking gross. He's a fat pig. He's gross, and she's just. Oh, yeah. I'll try and find you the link. It was this Mormon show, and it was so gross. All the guys are gross, and the girls are good looking, and I'm just like, oh, these guys
Maybe
got it
they're really
set.
good at bed.
Oh, fuck that. I don't care who you are. If you look like Ron Jeremy, I don't give a shit. That is so gross.
Dude, enough money and a good enough tongue and a good enough penis will make any man attractive to any woman. I don't care how fucking ugly he is. You get enough. I love women, but we have a price.
Yeah, but you gotta be attractive. You're telling me you would fuck a guy that looked like Ron Jeremy because he's got a big dick?
If he had enough money.
But that's no good though. Fuck the money. Think about just being around that.
Well, I'm not a desperate, skanky person without critical thinking skills. I mean, I'm smart and I'm successful.
Yeah, but you're just like the money. Fuck them. That doesn't sound
well,
good.
yeah, I'm just saying that's how women think. Like,
no,
if there's enough money.
Yes,
and,
I totally.
And he's got a big enough dick,
I
yeah.
couldn't agree with you more. There's a lot of fucking women out there that will sit there and go out with somebody that is incredibly unattractive because of money, or they're, you get some women
and
that.
You're looking. These are women who were raised in a very patriarchal religion where.
No, some of them, they're just skanky. They're just some
Man.
that are just skanky. I went out with a girl that she ended up marrying a guy with, he had money and he was twice her age, and you're like, really? And you realize she's just a fucking skank. She wasn't a Mormon or anything. She was Catholic. It was just that. Just, anyways, people are like that. But it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. But if I was a Mormon girl, I would totally be disgusted. I'd be like, I ain't sharing fucking anything. I'm not sharing my husband.
Yeah, but it's different. You're blessed. You believe that you're spiritually blessed for doing it. So you believe that it's a good thing. Yeah, you're going to have jealousy, and yeah, you're going to have issues with it. But in the end, it's what Heavenly Father wants. That's what they believe. So it's just like a Muslim blowing themselves up because they think that's what Allah decrees, is kill all the unbelievers. It's sick, and it's different extremes, but they still are only doing things because that's what God says to do.
Like, I heard this, like, when I was watching this show, the one girl, she's sitting there, and she's like, I hear my husband porking his new wife in the other room, while she's sitting there. It's fucking brutal, You could just see the pain on this girl's face, like going...
Yeah, that shouldn't be okay. Even the wives are supposed to have separate houses. They don't do that around each other. They're separate. I mean, they come together as one family, but they're separate families. Even in Islam, the wives aren't in the same house. You can have them stay in the same house, like hang out, but never, ever, ever would that happen with you in the house. Do you see what I'm saying? Or in the room next to you.
Oh, so there is limits. They're like, I'll pork you, but she's got to go to the store. Go,
or in your
Jen,
home.
go pick me up
Because
some
they have to keep
smokes.
separate residences.
Jen, go get me some smokes. Me and Becky need to talk. It's like fucking,
Right.
and then tell me you're not gonna get me the wrong pack. You're like, what a fucking asshole. I hope he gets cancer. I'll get him the shitty ones. That's just awful. I don't get that. But if see, I've met people that are swingers that are totally into it, and it's like it's different mentality, and they're complete atheists. It's just weird. But
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. If you're into it, whatever. But if you're brought up as a small child and you can believe anything when you're a kid, if you're fed that horse shit when you're a kid, of course you're going to believe it. Now, if you told a 32 or a 22-year-old kid, a good-looking woman, and you sit there and say, you know what? Listen, this new religion, this Mormon shit, you could get more wives and blah, 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 and you're blessed and blah, and all this shit. The girl will just sit there and go, yeah, go fuck yourself. You know?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, you have to be raised in it.
You have to be raised. You have to be taught that
or
it's
incredibly
okay.
gullible.
Yes. Yeah, you're total, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful thing. It's not sex. Blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, for the guy's plan, is total sex. It's total fucking awesomeness. It's like, you know what? I get to pork like 5 chicks. Awesome. I don't really got to do a whole lot because it's the perfect scam. See, my wife will sit there and go, clean out the garage. And I'll go, all right. And she's like, have you cleaned it out? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you got all fucking day. Clean out the garage. I can't sit there and go to my wife and go, listen, I only got an hour here because I need to be at your sister wife's place because I got to help their son with homework. So I can only really do 20 minutes here. Do you understand, sweetie? Okay. But at least you're trying. You know what I mean? It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just and you see me go away and you're like, what a good guy. See how hard he worked on the garage, and then he only fucked me in the ass twice today. What a wonderful guy. I mean, it's just sad. I mean, with the amount of knowledge that is out there on the net, you think you'd sit there and go, fuck, this is shit, this is really not good. Like if you're one of those Muslim guys where they go, hey, blow yourself up, I'd be like, okay, you first. Like here, you put on the bombs, you do it, show me. You go do that, pal. And then when it's my turn, I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go for coffee or something. I don't know about blowing myself
Then you wouldn't go to paradise.
Yeah, fuck paradise. If paradise needs me to blow up into little pieces and take innocent people, fuck that.
But they're not innocent. In their eyes,
that's
they're
what
not
I mean.
innocent.
Well,
plus, you're talking about
Jen, they brainwash themselves. That's
well,
all they
course.
read is the Quran. All they do is, they completely hypnotize
That's
themselves.
how they justify it.
Yeah, they totally.
It's sick, but I get it because I apologized for terrorism. I said the West either caused it or those people that died, then they deserved to die.
Really? Eh? So you were one of the. When did you think that? Like 2 weeks ago? Like when did this happen?
Yeah, like yesterday. I was like
3:30. You're like, they fucking deserve it. Fuck them.
No, it was before I left. Because what happened is my kids got taken to Pakistan, and I had to go get them. And I went back to the UK and tried to pretend everything was great with the marriage so that he would calm down. And then I told him that we were going on vacation to America. We got here, and I called him and said, we're not coming back. And he flipped out. But that was my exit from Islam. Basically.
Oh, wow. So what happened? Say that again. Like how did, so the marriage went downhill. And when did you realize that you said, you know what, I want out of Muslim, I don't want to be a Muslim anymore. When did it turn for you that you just thought, I know we're all over the place from Mormon to Muslim, but
that's kind of my life. No, the first time I got hit, I think, was when I was like, wait a second. But what the defining moment, and I've said this in other interviews, the defining moment for me was my son was just starting to talk. He was a toddler, and he had made a big mess. And I said, you need to clean it up. And he looked up at me and he said, I don't have to. I'm a boy. I don't have to do anything. And his dad looked at him and said, that's right, son. And I
Oh,
went, whoa.
what?
No.
What do you like? He dropped his fucking fork and just yelled "Al Akbar." Like what the fuck was that? He said, "I don't have to because I'm a
Yeah,
boy."
because that's what his dad taught him.
Should have
Because in
slapped the
Islam,
shit out of him.
you don't have to.
What did you
So
what did you say?
I didn't. I cleaned up. I didn't say anything. But at that moment, I knew I was done. I did not
Oh,
want my children to be raised like that,
of
and I had
course.
had a lot of issues. Where I was questioning things. I had been raped. I mean, I had a terrible experience. Terrible, terrible, terrible experience. Living under Sharia law in other countries and just living as a Muslim. But I was blamed for
When did
my
it
own
change for
rape.
you? Like when you say that you went over there Sharia law, like what did you think? Did you think this is going to be awesome? We're living by the book. This is good. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was very excited for it because I believed in it wholeheartedly. I was covering my face at that time.
Oh fuck! You wore that
Yeah, I
burqa.
didn't wear burqa. The only time I ever wore burqa was in Saudi when I was visiting Saudi. But I wore niqab, which is you leave the eyes open, but you wear the face veil.
But couldn't
I
they
did not
tell?
wear that the whole time. I wore that for a couple of years. I wore hijab for like 12 years.
Oh fuck! Do you ever? You should have worn a thong underneath that, and then just like bent over, but like raise it up.
sometimes, sometimes no underwear is needed
Yeah,
because
they.
I they're saris because I wore Indian clothing. So you've got the shalwar kameez, which is it's like a pantsuit. It's long pants and like a long shirt that comes down to like mid thigh,
Right.
and they're beautiful. And then you have the matching scarf, and the outfits are gorgeous, I think. And I used to go pick out my material and get my suit sewn, and I felt so pretty and girly and like a princess. Actually, I changed my name. My Islamic name was Amira, which means princess.
Oh.
Um, so I enjoyed all of that. That was great. But
And when did it change for
when
you? Like that, like I know
well,
that there are things in the culture that I think are really nice. You know, I love the shops. I think they always seem to smile and say, come in, thank you, brother. Nice meeting you. Hugs and kisses. It's a very
well,
sweet. There are aspects to that to Islam that is beautiful. You know,
also that's the culture though, not the religion. Like
no,
it's
the culture is beautiful. The absolutely beautiful culture where the people are very wonderful. They'll hug you, tell you, how are you, and they sincerely mean
very
that.
warm people.
Very, very
Yeah.
loving people. But when it comes to that religion, it that's where it changes for me, where I just go no. And again, it's not all that. I hate that fucking saying that. Not all, but there is a big majority out there that do want to hurt, that think it's okay to do the Sharia law, to you treat women like that, and to
Well, because Sharia is Islam. Like you
yeah,
can't. Of course, it's okay because that's what the Quran says. That's what Hadith says. Like you can't say that Sharia is not okay when Sharia is Islam. Do you know what I mean?
right,
I became radical. I'm the one who radicalized my ex, actually, not the other way around. As a convert, I was going to a lot of classes, and I was trying to learn. Trying to learn how to read Arabic. I was trying to learn all of the prayers. Trying to do everything I could to be the best Muslim I could be, because that's how I was a Mormon, the best Mormon I could be.
right.
So I studied and studied and studied, and I got involved with some extreme imams in the UK at some mosques that they preach some pretty extreme stuff. And our girl groups started getting pretty extreme. And then I introduced my ex-husband to the imam at the Glasgow Mosque, and he started going with the guys. And so I introduced him to the extreme imam who made him extreme, which in turn made me more extreme. And it was just this vicious cycle of
But didn't you kind of seal your own fate? I mean, when he said, when the kid said, when your child said, "Mom, I don't need to clean that up. I'm a boy," and your ex says, "Yeah, he's right." You kind of sealed your own fate. Like, did you think that you were immune to that? Like, did you go, "Fuck, I kind of made a Frankenstein here"?
Um, I don't think that I thought about it. Because I was okay with it in the Mormon church, sort of. See, my whole life I fought against things. Like I towed the line and I did what I was supposed to do. I was a good little girl. I got married when I was supposed to get married, because in the Mormon church you get married as soon as possible. That ended in divorce. I was married one time to a Mormon.
Oh,
and
how many times have you been?
Hearts.
How many times you been married there?
2.
Ooh, oh,
Yeah.
you are.
So the first time,
dragonfly.
Yeah. So I broke everyone's hearts with divorcing well, we had a son and he passed away, and it kind of.
Oh, gee. You had
it screwed everything up.
I'm so sorry. How old was the child?
3.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! I'm so sorry. I had no idea.
We had to fight. It was a long time ago. It was a terrible accident. It defines you. It does, and
oh fuck, that's awful.
The relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we couldn't stay married, so we got divorced, and that's when I came across like the Muslim ex, and I was lost. I was in pain.
Fucking right. Jesus, that is fucking awful.
So Islam was my answer to the pain. It was my answer to feeling loved.
Yeah.
Because I'd been shunned so badly by the Mormons because I got pregnant out of wedlock. I did what I was supposed to do. I got married in the temple, but I did it the wrong way. So I was still, no matter what, I was a marked woman. So it kind of took that away. I had a fresh start. They treated me differently because I was a divorcee and I wasn't a virgin, and things are different when you're not a virgin in Islam. But it wasn't that bad.
What was, just real quick, what was the child's name? Brandon. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That is awful.
I have a tattoo in his honor. I don't have a lot of tattoos, but I have one in his honor on my back. It's a half moon. I called him Mr. Moon. He was obsessed with the moon, obsessed.
Sure.
And and I've got stars around. It's cool. I designed it, but it reminds me of him, so that's kind of nice.
That fucking really puts me in a horrible mood. That sucks, Jen. I could see why people don't understand. I mean, when people are so easy to judge, and they can be so mean, but they don't understand what a person can go through, and to see what a person can go through, something as incredibly fucking hard as that. I could never judge you. I could never sit there and say you're a silly person or what you did, to find the Muslim religion was ridiculous. That's talking out of your ass if you say stuff like that. You are at such a horrible time in your life, such a horrendous fucking thing happened. So you're trying to find a way out of the pain and suffering, and of course that's going to happen. And people don't know. Yeah. People are so. I see people say some pretty fucking horrendous things, and they don't know the backstory. They don't understand what has happened. So, I
get called stupid for joining 2 cults. Or one I was born into, I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, but nobody understands. Yeah, but nobody understands the path that you've taken. What has happened? No one knows the fuck that what happened. So for them to say that, I mean, it like before when you told me that, I just thought, oh, she must be one of the girls that just is a seeker, always out there looking. And I'm like that too. I went to other religions to seek, to just sit there and say, what is this about? I want to know about life after death. Do we really go to heaven? Is there a God? Stuff like that, And I would just seek, and I would go to different churches and different religions, and just realize that it's the same bullshit. They're just telling you. Like for me, it's like for God. If the only way I could believe there is a God, if he actually showed up, like I need more than just fucking a picture of Jesus on my toast, I need more than that. I need more than there's a statue that is crying in Switzerland. I mean, is that seriously? That's the creator. That's the best that they could do, and it sucks. So, I had these questions because as you get older, you realize you're not immortal. And, sooner or later something could happen. Anything could happen, and you just want these. You just want to know. I mean, I had a buddy just pass away a couple weeks ago, a year older than me, died of a heart attack just walking out of his house, and he's got two
Oh, sorry to hear that.
kids. Yeah, he's got two fucking kids and the wife. And I was there when one of the boys was born. I was at the hospital. And I remember all that. It was a really nice moment. And he just the last thing he was thinking about was, I need gas for the car, and
Yeah.
that's it. He's gone, and that sucks. And people go, why do I always look at religion and ghosts and fucking crazy shit, mysteries, and because I want to know. I just want to know, and at least I could walk away. I mean, there was a time in my life when I believed in ghosts and shit, and then you realize, well, that's just horse shit. There's really nothing there. Possession. This person gets possessed, and then you realize, well, they were off their medication or they needed medication. And you start, and you wanted answers. This isn't about me. This is about you. You wanted answers, so you went to the Muslim country. You went to a Muslim religion where I'm sure it's like anything in the world. The first time is the best time. When it's they're gonna show you the best of the best, right? We're gonna make you feel. He's gonna, the husband, your ex there is gonna make you feel like $1 million.
Oh yeah, he was completely well behaved, but it wasn't him. As a white convert, you're held up as you're special. But the whole time I was Muslim, I was special. It's not just like you're treated. I got to go to people's houses and meet people that normal converts would never get to meet or do, simply because of the color of my skin and where I was from. That's it.
Really, eh?
Yeah, they really do hold you up as the gold standard, and everyone treats you better than better. Now, at the same time, you're also treated very badly I was spit on, kicked, hit, a bottle broken over my head, a bottle broken over my friend's head by white people.
Wow.
So, because I was wearing hijab, because I was called a packy lover, I was spit on and called a packy lover.
Where was that?
In Glasgow, in Scotland.
Oh, in Scotland. Well, I could see it there.
Yeah, because they really have issues with the influx of Asian immigrants, and my ex's family was also an Asian immigrant family, Asian being South Asian, but they came over as doctors in the late 60s, and they brought over their whole family. I mean, just the Indian side of the family came and went. They didn't have any restrictions on citizenship or traveling. Like, it was crazy how many people would come over and be able to stay and go on the dole. But the Pakistani side of the family, his dad, because his parents were a love marriage, which was unheard of. Like, they met at a hospital in Qatar as doctors, and they fell in love, and the families had to fit, because one side was from India and one side was from Pakistan. And the partition had already happened. When the partition happened when Pakistan was made into the Islamic country that it is, right?
Right.
So this is after this, because they were both they're both passed away now. They were in their 80s, I think, 70s. He had passed away when my ex was really young, but the mom was like 85. So this is
right. And they're midgets when they're that
15 years.
size, aren't they? They're like little midgets. They're the cutest thing in the world, aren't they? They're like these little
Who,
Ewoks.
the Indian ladies?
Yeah, when they're fucking 80 years old. Even the Italian ladies.
Oh yeah,
They're like
they
little
shrink
midgets.
into little, and they wear their saris
Yeah.
or the shorkamis. They're adorable. They're
Yeah.
really nasty though. They're not nice.
No, Italian
They look cute.
Italian women are hilarious. Like Italian grandmothers, they're like these little fucking. They wear black because their husband died or ran away, 50 years ago. And once they're gone, they'll never get married again, right? So they always wear black, and I'm like, what a horrible existence. And they're like these little midgets. These little short little. Anyways, I just think it's kind of cute. Great cooks, but
Okay, so my ex's parents were a love marriage, and they're the only ones for generations. It's been cousins marrying cousins, and all arranged marriages. So the families had a fit, and they went to the UK to start a new life, and we had to hide the fact, because his father passed away when he was 14. We had to hide the fact that we were visiting the Pakistani side of the family, And the Pakistani side of the family was the side of the family that brought the 14-year-old girls from Pakistan, married them, and kept them locked up in houses.
Oh.
So many of his cousins went and got young girls to marry, bring them over, and never let them out. Kept them, like, I wasn't even allowed to talk to them because I was a bad influence. Because I would ask the women, like, why are they treating you like this? This isn't Islam. Like the Islam that I knew, that was not the way women were supposed to be treated. So
wait, they would lock them up? What do you mean lock them up? Like put them in the house and make sure they weren't allowed out?
Yeah, like they weren't, because you practice purda. Purda is separation of the sexes. And I practice purda as well.
What,
but
purda?
Not to that extreme.
I never heard of that. I never heard of purda. What's that, purda?
Purda is where men and women that are not related, as far as like father, daughter, husband, wife, son, mother, cannot be around each other without being covered up or completely separate. They do not allow the intermingling of the sexes. So when you have like a dinner at your house,
yeah,
you have all the men in one room and all the women in another, and they do not see each other.
What the
like,
fuck?
A woman will go in there to serve them, but that's it.
When do the strippers show up? Like, what the fuck is that? What do you like? They would go to women go to one area, and the guys go to another one, and they had to be covered up.
Yeah, if you're outside of your home. So, like one particular cousin had gone to Pakistan. She was 14 and a half and brought her back. It was a cousin of his, so they brought her over by immigration through family, not marriage. They didn't tell immigration that he was intending to marry her. So he marries her, and we go visit, and he did not even let her come out to say hello to me even. She wanted to. I heard them arguing, but he hit her, and she was shut up, and that was the end of that. And I wasn't allowed to say anything.
Oh, he hit her?
Oh, yeah.
And did you...
Abuse was rife.
Oh, fuck. Did you ever get hit?
Yes, many times.
And he used to beat you up, the ex?
Yeah, like I wouldn't have dinner ready on time. He saw me talking to a security guard at the grocery store. He sent me to Saudi for punishment once because I talked to a man.
He sent... what's that mean, he sent you to Saudi?
He sent me to go live with his sister in Saudi.
Oh, to
literally, like, go live in Saudi with his sister and learn to behave.
And what did this sister do to you? Like, I don't get it. Like, was she mean to you?
No, I was forced to go for Umrah. So we had to go to the Kaaba, and I had to confess my sins. And
holy fuck.
I was very indoctrinated at that point. I was sent away to France as well for misbehaving once.
For misbehaving, you got sent to France. And
yeah.
he would... That's the thing. You would be sent away... Like, if I were to ever raise my hand to my wife, she'd beat the shit out of me.
Oh, I would now.
Like,
she would
me,
come
like,
near me, even talk badly to me.
It would be so... I would never, ever raise my hand, but...
But it's what God... You don't understand. It's like God says that's the way it has to be. Therefore, even as a woman, as much as it went against every fiber of my being, like, I wanted to fight back so bad, I didn't. Because God said not to. My place as a woman was as a homemaker, to make my husband happy, give him sex when he wants, and take care of the kids. That's my job. I wasn't allowed to have a career. I insisted on a career anyway. And like I told my dad I wanted to go to college once.
Right.
Like because I was getting older, and I was talking about, I really wanted to be a teacher. And he looked at me and he laughed and he said, I don't understand why you need to go to college. Like, you're going to get married and have babies. And right. He's like, and then he said, and you're fat, so you better hurry up and get on that, or no one's going to marry you.
Right.
Nobody wants a fat chick.
Wow, that was
my dad.
What a sweetie.
Right.
And he
used to tell me, like, fat girls don't have boyfriends and fat girls don't have friends, so don't be fat. I mean, he was telling.
You should. Yeah, I should show him. I should show him some of the sites that I go on. I mean, that is fucked up. But if your husband asked for sex, no matter what, you'd have to give it to him.
Absolutely.
What a deal! You know what guy wrote the book? Like, for sure. Like that sentence there. I guarantee you, when they were working on it, they were like, "Put down. Well, what do you want to put down, Habib?" And he's like, "Put down that whenever we want sex, they have to do it. Just do it. Just put it down. Trust me." Like, yeah, good idea. Right? We're out of ink. Get some ink. Get some fucking ink. I mean, unbelievable. That is quite the deal, man. Like it's like, hey, suck my dick. All right, right there. I mean, I have to cut the lawn. I have to be nice. I've got to act like a fucking human being, and then I'll get like a treat. You know.
They don't even have to act like a human being. I mean, in essence, you're bought and paid for once you're married in that culture and environment and religion. Because Islam is not one culture. Like, it is a culture, but it's a totalitarian religion. But there are so many different cultures that go into Islam. Like, the Egyptian culture and the Libyan cultures are so different to, say, the Indian and Pakistani and Bangladeshi cultures, or Sri Lankan. You know, they all, Islam is what binds them all together. The Quran and Hadith binds them all together, but there's a lot of similarities, but my experiences with Pakistan and India is very, very unique to Pakistan and India in a lot of ways. My experiences being, like, I lived in Saudi, Qatar, I was in Pakistan for a long time, I was in Afghanistan for 2 months only, but it was crazy.
You were in Afghanistan?
Yeah, my ex-mother-in-law's, part of her family was from Afghanistan, so we went to go visit family once.
Oh, wow.
And I lived all over Europe, like in France and then in the UK. I was born in Scotland, so I have dual citizenship for both the US and the UK. So I had the ability to pretty much travel wherever I needed to go on my British passport.
So you're Scottish.
Yeah, I'm half and half. Like,
but you sound so there. American. You sound so.
Yeah, because I was raised in LA, so I came over when I was 2.
Oh.
Raised in LA, and I went back to the UK when I was a young adult. Married my ex.
Do you have red hair?
No, I have blonde hair.
Oh, okay. No, I just thought because you're Scottish, most of them got like red hair, you know.
Yeah, no. But my kids had very thick accents when we first moved here. It's been 6 years. Their accents are gone completely. We still say funny things, like I say the boot of the car, or the bonnet, or the windscreen, fish fingers, cheese strings. We don't, like, people laugh at us sometimes because we say funny things. That's right. About the extent of it now.
Hey, so when the marriage was going downhill and you said, I've got to get out of here, how was your plan to get, how many kids did you have with him?
2.
Okay, so what was your plan, and how did you said you had to calm them down and kind of sweet talk them and tell them everything's okay, and then get the kids. How did that all happen?
Well, we went back to the UK from Pakistan. It was a couple years. I was playing the dutiful wife, biding my time. I didn't have anyone to turn to. There was no one to help me or take me in. I wasn't working. I had gone to school for nursing, and I had been working, but he controlled the money. So my paycheck went into his account, and then when I went to the store, he would only put into my account the amount that I needed at the store. I'd have to call him before I checked out and say, okay, it's this much, and he would immediately transfer the money.
So he was a complete and utter fucking loser.
Yeah, he kept me on a very, very tight leash, so that I couldn't.
Holy
he put cameras up in front of our house, like front and back of our house had cameras, CCTV. So he'd always monitor who was coming and going. Our phone was bugged, so he'd play the tapes. If I was on the phone, he'd question me about whoever I talked to. He had keyloggers on the computer, so I couldn't have conversations. Like, at the end of the night when he'd come home from work, he would go through everything, and then he'd question me. Like, if I was talking to my best friend, he'd say, why did you say this negative thing about me? So I was never free to talk or to be free, even at work. Like, the reason why he sent me away one of the times was because I had lunch with a doctor. We had just come out of the operating theater in surgery, and we had lunch, and he walked in the cafeteria and saw us and flipped out.
What did you do?
Well, he just started yelling and screaming, and then booked a flight and sent me away, and I went. It's not like he physically restrained me and said, fuck you, bitch, you're going to be in the basement.
I don't know how you you should have just kicked the fucking piss out of him right there. It's like, shut up, you idiot.
There's no way. Now, see, and this is the thing, like, now, the person that I am now is the person that I've always been without religion, without the guilt, and without wanting to please God. I wasn't a seeker so much as I had been raised to accept whatever a man told me. I fought against it internally, and it caused great turmoil and strife in my life.
Of course, he must have known that you've lost a child, right?
Yes.
And he treated you like that.
And he took my kids. He took my babies. I came home from work and my babies were gone. He took them
Jeez.
to another country.
I want to find this guy.
With the intention of me never seeing them again.
What a
He
fucking
told me that's what he was
sicko.
going to do. When I told him I wanted a divorce, that's what he said he was
Oh,
going to
wait,
do.
what
That's
happened?
exactly
What happened to
he
the
did.
day when you told him about the divorce? Like when you had just had enough? What happened? Like, tell me.
Well,
Set me up.
This was like 3 years before we actually divorced, and this is before he took them. This just before he took them to Pakistan. It was. I had just gotten back from France. He'd sent me to France because I had had a conversation. He didn't like that doctor, and then.
You know, it'd be awesome, real quick, if he sent you to France and he sent you to the really posh, like fucking awesome part of France. You know, where the millionaires hang out, and he thinks he's sent you to the poor place, and you show all the
So that would be
pictures,
cool.
and he's like, "Wait, you were on a yacht?" And you're like, "Yeah, I was on a yacht. We had caviar. Why don't you send me to France again, you fucking loser?"
France was lovely, though. I really did have a good time because I went with my friend, and well, it's a long story, but it was really nice. So fuck him.
So all right. So when you had enough, when was it that you just said, "Listen, I want a divorce"? When did that happen?
Well, yeah, that was after I got back, and you know, probably a couple days after I got back, we were talking, and I think, he was meant to do something. I'd asked him to pick something up or something. I was back in school and trying to take care of the two toddlers because my kids are only 18 months apart.
Right.
So, and he told me, I don't know, he told me to fuck off or something when I asked him for help. And so I was just like, I want a divorce. And he got very angry, but very calm, and said, if you try to leave, you will never see those kids again. Ever.
Wow.
And my dad said the same thing to my mom. And my dad actually got us. My dad took us for my mom. So I never knew my mom for a long time. So that was the thing. And I talked to my mom later in life, and I asked her why she gave up and why she left us with an abusive father. And she said, because I thought he was going to kill me.
Ugh.
And he would take you guys, and it was the same thing. I genuinely believed he would kill me and he would take my children. So I didn't fight, but it was enough to have him take them anyway.
Right.
And
so
he
said to you, he goes, what I'm gonna. He said, if you think of leaving me, you'll never see these kids again.
Yeah, he said, I'll take them to Pakistan.
And then would he still ask for sex and stuff from you?
Oh, we had sex that day. We had sex the day I left. The day I got on an airplane to come to America.
Now, did you have to?
I had to blow him.
Really?
So he wouldn't suspect anything was up.
So you had to do the whole, and did you had to fake, that you're happy about it?
You mean fake orgasm? No,
Yeah.
Because I would enjoy sex no matter what. I mean, if somebody's
okay.
sticking a penis in me, I'm gonna like it. I mean, unless I'm being raped, but I've never.
Wow, that's great.
Even during the rape situation, it wasn't entirely unpleasant. Which it's a lot. It's crazy how it was a horrible person doing a horrible thing, but the whole thing wasn't entirely unpleasant, which caused weird ideas in my head because I suspected that rape was always supposed to be bad and icky.
So you had to blow him the day you left just so he wouldn't suspect anything.
Yeah, I mean, we had sex, blew him, and actually we kept sex a couple times that day. Yeah, he took me to the airport. We were going on vacation.
Fuck, you'd make a perfect spy.
I had to do what I had to do to get my kids out.
Yeah. So, and then so he thought everything was cool, and then how did you tell him you're not coming back, and what happened?
I had a friend here who, what facilitated the whole thing where I got the guts to finally do it was, I had a friend who offered to pay for the plane tickets, and I finally said okay. And I got all of our travel documents in order and everything. And I told my ex that it was my family member that had bought the tickets. So I lied. I lied my ass off about everything.
Right.
And that we were going to go stay with family. And instead I went to go stay with my friend. And she gave us a place to stay for a while and took care of things. But I literally, as soon as we left the airport, got to her house. I picked up the phone. I called him and told him, we're here. We're safe. And by the way, we're not coming back.
Oh, wow.
Of course he was angry. Of course he accused me of kidnapping the kids.
Did he go, what?
Get me.
Oh, jeez. Like that is just, that's awesome. That's like a movie. And then,
yeah.
then, like, did he sit there and go, like, when were you, like, relaxed? Like, were you on the flight thinking, "Oh, this is awesome. I'm finally done." Like, when were you
Oh
happy?
no, no. I knew I wasn't probably maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I was finally relaxed, and even now I'm not 100% relaxed because my kids aren't adults yet. Um, I knew he was going to fight, and I knew he was going to fight me hard for sure. I knew that it was going to be bad, so I went into it kind of. I just figured if there were 6,000 miles separating us, that I'd be safer,
Right.
and which is true. He did not come here but one time. Um, and he actually stayed at my house, so things were a little bit better after a couple years, and he finally got with it. But he took me to court. He threatened to get custody. The court ruled in my favor. I got custody of the kids, and he was ordered to pay $800 a month in child support because he's a private banking executive. He's very wealthy, and he never did. He's never paid child support. He maybe calls once a year. At first, he was hell-bent on getting them, but I think once he realized that he wasn't going to get them, his mom told him to pretend like we were dead.
Oh, what a fucking loser. So he's
So,
got money coming out of his ass, and he's never sent you a dime?
no, he sent me $100 like 2 years ago.
What a fucking loser.
Yeah, I asked him for some. I was having some financial problems like a year and a half ago, and I asked him for $30. Like I was going to get paid the next day. I don't remember what. My daughter needed medicine or something, And he said, "That's your fucking problem."
Oh.
So I've always liked my kids about him. I never wanted them to feel like he didn't love them or want them. And because he did, he fought for them. I know in his way, the pain was so intense losing his kids that he had to shut it off. Yes, he's a terrible person. Yeah, he's shitty and he makes shitty decisions, but he lost his babies. He was there for them coming into the world. He held them in his arms. Those are his babies. And I took them away. So I have to take that into consideration. So his behavior was a hurt man who lost his family for whatever reason, whether it was his doing or not.
Yeah, but
I take responsibility for my part in it too. I wasn't innocent,
Yeah, but you
so
got to understand that, like, the hell that he put you through, the bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But in
something
his
where.
eyes, it was for his religion. It wasn't because he's a bad
Well,
person.
I would sit there and go, what's more important, my religion or my family?
Apparently, it was his religion.
Yeah, well,
but
fuck.
This man is now willing to die for his religion. So this is a man that was normal. He didn't even like me in hijab. He didn't like me covered up at all. He liked it when I wore makeup. He liked it when I dressed nice. He went from that to insisting that I stayed in all the time and never talked to anyone.
Well, because he's jealous. Like, he doesn't want any other guy to touch you or anything. It's just sick. It's like any time you do that, it becomes worse. Anytime.
Well, I acted out more because of it. Like I know. Like looking back now, I was young. I was overwhelmed. I was lost again. I was looking for love and acceptance, and I never felt accepted. So I acted out, and he used to try to diagnose me with all these like mental issues. Like, he caught me talking to a guy, right? The security guard at the grocery store caught me, and I was a little flirtatious. I've always been a little flirtatious. That's just my nature, but nothing like we're gonna meet and have sex or anything. It was just talking, and he like the way he responds to it and reacts to it, I knew it was going to upset him. And I kind of got a kick out of it because it was my only way to fight back. It was just like, but sometimes I'd push it a little bit too far. Like I'd laugh a little bit too loud or be a little bit too flirtatious. And so I knew what I was doing, and I did it on purpose. So I acted out because what else was I going to do? Right.
Of course. But
I mean, looking back now, I can see that. But at the time, I didn't. And at the time, I was fighting my nature. It's so hard. I'm not gay. I have a lesbian daughter. But I watched her. She tried to harm herself. Like, she was a cutter because she was denying her true nature. Another reason why I'm glad her father's not in her life, because there's no way. Even me as a Muslim, I told her I would have sent her away to get married. If I was still Muslim and she came to me at, say, 14 and said, I'm a lesbian, I'll say, pack your bags. because no, you're not.
Right.
So, she's allowed at 15, she's allowed to be who she wants to be and needs to be without judgment or guilt. And even without that, she still had the issues of the self-hate and tried to deny who she was. So I watched her be like that, and I realized I kind of sort of went through the same thing, not with sexuality, but the same kind of issues,
Right. That's just, yeah, I mean, but the beauty of it is you did everything for your kids. I mean,
because of my mom. Because my mom walked away. I thanked my mom a long time ago. I didn't ever see her until I was an adult. Like, I didn't have a relationship. She left when I was 8 or 7, and I didn't ever see her. So she met a man and she just took off. So
yeah.
I told her the one thing I had to thank her for. I had a lot of anger towards her for a lot of years.
Sure, of course.
Was that I would never ever walk away from my children.
Yeah.
Never for anything. I will lose my life before I walk away from my kids.
Yeah, and that is, in a way, that is so beautiful. That, to me, is, your kids are very lucky. If you weren't as strong as you are, they'd be fucked. They really would. I promise you, your daughter would probably have committed suicide.
I'm sure, yeah. Because yeah, definitely.
Like, because they can't handle that. She is going against her nature. And when you do that to somebody, they literally lose their mind. And you would have... it would have been a death sentence to your child, continuing with that religion.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
that is.
So that's why I make videos and stuff. I do what I do.
Yeah, I know, and
not for attention, not to have the most subscribers, or because my brand of humor and my brand of personality rubs some people the wrong way, which is fine. I have a unique perspective, and my experience is unique, obviously.
No, it's great. I love it. It's not unique. It's good. I don't. I love a funny woman. Very rarely, women make me funny, make me laugh. I don't find a lot of women funny, but
no, I don't either.
I do find your humor very funny, because it's kind of my kind of. My humor is very dry. And I was brought up, watching British TV, so it's a very Britishy kind of that dry humor.
So you get my humor then, because a lot of people, if you're not used to British humor,
yeah, it's just, but
that's a lot where I come from.
Yeah, it comes from where you're from, but it also comes from you, and I think that is your. It's not a niche; it's what you are, and if people don't get it, they're just stupid. There's nothing you can do. I mean, there's fuck, it's one of those things. You ever watch E.T. the movie, and you go, "What a great movie," and then you meet that one person going, "I didn't get it," and you're like, you're like, you're a fucking idiot. How do you not get that? And that's what you got to deal with. Just ignore that. Your videos are wonderful. I love how you put humor to them, but it's the message that I enjoy the most. From your vids, and I think that's important, because you're helping out people that maybe there's a girl out there, or anybody that's out there. Hopefully she could go to the public library, go on the net, see you, listen to what you say, and you're not putting demons in your head. You're putting thought patterns that are there that are going to help this person. And
I get messages like that.
That's wonderful. That's the whole point. You need that. If you didn't have that, I
wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like
oh God, no! I'm risking. You don't right now, today, right this second. My address and my information is out there with my ex-in-laws, the family. They have hunted me down. We have to move. It's so bad, and I do it because. Just today, I got a message saying thank you that somebody's saying the things that I feel.
That's
so
wonderful.
Just one person sees it, and it makes a difference. And I swear to you, I've barely done anything in my life altruistically. Always for selfish reasons. I can claim up and down, left, right, and center that it was for just because I want to be a good person. But I swear to you, I do this because it will make a difference in someone's life. I risk myself and my children. and I shouldn't, but I do, because it means the world to me.
Sure, you remember how fucked up it was for you, and you thought if you weren't who you were, you'd probably commit suicide, or you would just be a subservient person and live in hell constantly. And it's just,
I just had to have 2 people arrested. My broken windows and slashed tires, and my son's being harassed on PlayStation, or telling him come back to Islam or die. This is family members. This is friends of my ex, and that have been trying to find us for years. And this is a reality in America, in Los Angeles, right now, today. I have to fear for my life. My children cannot walk outside by themselves because they know where we live. I'm not, and it's not like conspiracy, or I'm fucking crazy.
No,
or
no,
like,
I totally know.
This is my reality right now.
No, I know. And people, like, unless you see it and live it, you have no idea what this person's talking about. Like, people are, it's so easy to sit back and watch this and think, what is she talking about? Fuck it, are you crazy? Live it. See what it's like dealing with these people. These people are out of their fucking mind. They will hunt you down and make your life hell, and it sucks, man. It really fucking sucks. I feel horrible for you, but what I love about you is you're one of these people that you're like, fuck you, I'll get up again and I'll hit you twice as hard. And
yeah, I have to. I feel compelled. It's like, I don't
of course
have
you have to, or else you're gonna end up fucking, a complete loser of life.
I don't want my life lessons to be for nothing.
Yeah, and no, of course, but they're harsh life lessons that I wouldn't wish upon anybody. But
me neither.
But you did it, and you're like, you know what? It's not like you're proud of it. You're just telling a story, and I think that is important. And I think you've always had a good sense of humor. I mean, even the sex stuff where you're like, you know what, I'm getting fucked. I agree with you there. I'd be like, you know what, if I had to fuck, sure, I would totally do it, like, and enjoy it, even though I hated the person.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a cold fish, and I have no problem talking about sex when I was Mormon. There's no way I would have talked about sex. Like, I was so shy and ashamed of my sexuality, and I'm one of those chicks that, like, I'm really easy to get off. So it's like, sex is not bad, and even anytime it's not bad.
No, I know.
Like I said, even in the situation where it should have been bad, it wasn't necessarily. Yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't necessarily bad either.
I know. There's that. I always go by. There's no such thing as bad sex. Yes, there is. No sex. That sucks.
No sex is bad sex.
Yeah, even if you're screwing a fat pig, it doesn't matter. It is.
Get your dick wet.
Yeah, exactly. It's just close your eyes.
Is it a hole? Yes. Fine. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so what? It's an apple pie. Who cares? Who's gonna eat it? Yeah, I know. Or have you ever done this where you've had a big dinner with people and you ended up fucking the person just before everybody comes over on top of the table?
I can't say that's happened to me.
All right, just curious. Because then, like, if you ever look over and there's a dog staring at you, and it's just got that look like wow, that is really, really freaky. Folks, we've been talking to Base Skepto, Jen. Where can people follow? Can you give me I'll put up the link to your YouTube, but do you have a Twitter account that people could follow you?
Yeah, Rockabye Rose.
It's called Rockabye Rose?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And I'll put that link up too. Anything that you're working on that people could look forward to?
I'm writing a book. You said my story was book worthy. I am writing a book.
Oh,
Should be done like another 3 or 4 months.
Oh, cool. I'll have you on when the book's out. I'll as soon as before it comes out, we'll have it on and we'll talk about the book if you want. And I think that is really cool. That's fantastic. That is going to be an amazing book. I'll tell you right now.
I wasn't going to, but everyone said, they're like, you have to write a book about this.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. It didn't seem crazy to me because it's my life. Does that make sense?
It's a movie. I could see it as a total movie, and at the end, if it goes no, in the beginning it goes based on a true story. That's the part that I love the best. You know what I mean? You ever see like a You ever see like a like one of those possession things, and they're like based on a true story, and it's like
Yeah, that always made me kind of laugh.
yeah, and then like the person's like walking on the wall, and I'm like, why hasn't this ever been fucking documented? Didn't anybody have a
That's like in my
camera?
book. I'm gonna be a millionaire, and I'm gonna be on a jet. I'm just gonna have this fabulous life, but I'll make it really gruesome. It'll be
Yeah.
the best story ever.
Yeah. No, that's great. I love that. And they got to do the part. I hope it's the X-rated part where you give head, like just before the like in the airport, and he's like,
As he's driving me to the airport,
yeah, yeah,
the
like
kids are in another car because they can't be in the same car. That's
yeah, yeah, and it's just oh, I love that. That is awesome. And you keep looking up, going, "Are we there yet?" And he's like, "No, no." And it's just all right, fucking, you got to go back
Keep
down.
sucking, bitch.
Yeah, yeah, and you're like, oh, you know, oh, the land of milk and honey. Well, it's been a blast talking to you, Skepto. Jen, I'd rather call you Jen, but she does go
Yeah,
by
Jen's fine.
she goes by Base Skepto. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I want you back because I want to talk to you about other stuff too, not just that, but
Sure.
I think there's other things I want to talk to you about because I did talk to you at a hangout once, and you know all about sex, and you know that I always interview porn stars too, and people in the sex industry, and it's amazing what they talk about. And then I remember you talking about you were with some guy with like a fucking 12-inch dick or something, and
Yeah.
and that was just amazing because you
I have no shame. Like when it comes
no,
to sex,
no,
I'll talk about it.
you're a warrior. But that to me is just that's fantastic. That is you hold nothing back. And see when you talk about stuff that you do, I believe it. It's not like you're making shit up because the way you are, I could tell that you're not making this shit up. You know, some people you could totally go, yeah, they're full of shit. You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I could tell just by the way you say shit, the way you talk. I could say, yeah, no, this really did happen, and it's a powerful story, and I really appreciate your time, Jen.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hey, no
It's been
problem, folks. You're listening to the Wrecking Crew Comedy Podcast. I'm Vito D'Amico. Subscribe, check it out, and Jen, thank you for your time,
fun. Thank you.
folks. Be good to each other, and be safe. Ciao.